Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. Here we got our weekly Mailbag show. So before we do that, though, if you guys have been missing us, I know we're not doing daily shows as much as we used to, but we still have daily content, to be honest, everywhere. So make sure you're following us all over the place. So if you usually listen to the podcast and just that, make sure you go on YouTube and check us out, youtube.com/fantasyfootballprofit. We have waiver wire there, players to trade away there. I might jump into some players to trade away on this episode as well. But we got that. Instagram has a bunch of stuff as well, instagram.com/fantasyfootballprofit. We even got stuff on TikTok now, man. We're on TikTok. We're doing the thing. It's so wherever you want to follow. There's all kinds of content. Our TikTok, I believe, it's TikTok. It's at FF Profit. And however you get there, just search for us. You'll find us. We're there. So we got some of the stuff. But hey, if you haven't been hearing as many shows from us lately, go check us out all those other places. You'll get the content for sure. We do have some mailbag questions that came in. I got some from, and actually the Discord too. We got some good Discord stuff going on. A lot of gambling chat right now. Some good game day football chat as well. So check that out. We got some questions today though from Instagram, a couple from Discord. I'm going to jump right into them. And Jeff, I'm going to get this is a good question for you because you're a Marquis Brown guy. This is from Brock. He said, "Should I trade Marquis Brown while value is high in Hopkins coming back? If so, what should his return be?" So would you trade Marquis Brown? He's had a couple, pretty solid weeks, to be honest. He's playing very well. Would you trade him now? Value's high, Hopkins coming back, or you roll with it?
It all depends on who you can get for him, right? I wouldn't sell low because I think that he will continue to produce, but Hopkins is a worry, and Hopkins is a very good wide receiver. He might come back and be the favorite target still. But I don't think you don't panic. You have to get a very good return for him. I'm not sure where that goes. The one that is there's a lot of players that I don't have a lot of confidence in. And at least he has a very dynamic quarterback. He's in a very good position, and he has the athletic ability to succeed. I think Arizona is actually right now their offense could even be a little bit more productive, little more. So I really do like him. But if they're going to give you, someone, who in the world would they give you? The only person that I think is kind of below him is Chris Olave is really interesting to me.
I do love Olave, but maybe I don't know if I don't feel like that's an improvement.
Yeah, everyone above him, they're not going to give you. That's how I kind of feel about it. I'm not sure. I think his value is. Yes, it is high at the moment, but I don't think I would dip down and get someone like a Chris Godwin the way things are going. Yeah. Like an Amari Cooper seems like really. That one is a little interesting, but he's so up and down. Terry McLaurin hasn't really pulled it along. Any Pittsburgh wide receiver is still going to be caught in purgatory. Oh, who else? Unless, and I don't believe in the Jets offense enough to go in for a Garrett Wilson. So I'm just not sure who you would be able to trade for. So I think I'd probably say Pat actually after looking all of the names. You're not going to get a Higgins or I don't know. What do you think about someone if people are completely off of Dallas and they're CeeDee Lamb for him? I don't think that will happen, but
no, I don't think it'll happen. CeeDee Lamb, I think he's had a couple good games. I like CeeDee Lamb quite a bit.
Of course. Well, who doesn't? That's right. But I thought he was going to be top tier.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get him. CeeDee Lamb's gone 8 for 87 and touchdown, 6 for 97 touchdowns. So it's the yardage is there yet, and
right.
I don't think here's the problem with Marquis Brown. I think he's playing well enough, but I just don't even think I don't think his name value has enough even to get you a good deal right now. No. I don't think what you could get for him is worth trading him. That's basically where I'm at with him. I think you just keep him. And we don't know what Hopkins is going to be. We don't know. Hopkins was slowing down last year.
Here's one. Would you trade him for I was going to say it was very difficult too, because I was going to say you could go for someone that was a little bit banged up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think it's there. I think you hold. I think that's the best deal you can do. Just hold them, to be honest.
Yep.
So Sports Fan 2 says wants to make a move. Not sure who to go after, drop, or pick up. So let's see. Let's look at his team. Let's see if there's anybody we should look to trade on this team. So he has Jalen Hurts at quarterback. Keep it. Good. Don't worry about it. He has Saquon at running back as his number one. Love it. I hope there's a lot of teams out there with Saquon and Nick Chubb. We had him. We told him to get. But
I know.
That's one of, but here we go. Number 2, though, is James Conner. Number 3 is Antonio Gibson. Then he has Hunt and Gordon, Khalil Herbert. So then we'll get to the wide receivers real quick. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Cortland Sutton, Rashad Bateman, Alan Lazard. Yeah, you're fine. So the only upgrade, you have a good team. The only upgrade is that running back 2, I think, because I'm not a Conner fan and not a Gibson fan, especially with Brian Robertson back on the practice field.
Yeah. You might have gotten lucky with Gordon. We're kind of waiting to find out.
True.
How,
you might
he reacts
to
Jalen,
Gordon could step up there. I would definitely try. I don't think Antonio Gibson has a lot of value. I just don't think it's there.
Well, I think you do have such a good team that I could see a possibility. The hard part is like, who do you actually go for? Like your wide receivers are stacked, but do you package one pretty decent wide receiver and like an Antonio Gibson, and then try to go after one guy that you can actually play? But once again, what is that look like,
that
right?
guy? What is that
do you
guy?
have an up and coming running back that you would rather take over them?
Man, I'm looking every day for running backs coming up, and I don't see it. So in reality, I would almost like, it depends on how people feel about players. Like, could you package? Would you just like go, okay, I'll give? I mean, I don't Gibson and Bateman and get. Man, if Miles Sanders didn't have that big day the other day, that would have been a good one. Man, there's just not. It's hard to say. I still like J.K. Dobbins. Is people? He had a couple touchdowns, but is that enough to make people jump?
Yeah, it will. Like if you have Dobbins and you see that, you're like, he can do that with like 10 touches. What about someone? Obviously, you're looking for a team that needs 2 players compared to 1, but I do wonder for someone like a Breece Hall. That feels like
he's Breece Hall. That's the name I wanted to say, Breece Hall. So he's still down there in the mid-20s for like rankings right now. But I love what's happening here. I wouldn't. Okay, as much as I don't even like James Conner, I wouldn't trade James Conner for that. But I would try to package, if you could, Gibson, Bateman, something like that. It's going to take 2 players yet, I think, even with Gibson, most likely, if people are smart.
And both of those players are playable for other teams. Yeah, and a lot of people will need depth right now. So that's kind of the trade I would be looking for as well.
Yeah, Breece Hall, I like.
What do you think about it? What do you think about Damien Pierce? One running back on a really bad team.
So I think he's a little
more up and down, but
so Pierce just has too much hype behind him. I think it's overhyped. I don't think he's as good as people think. I think he's a very solid player, but I think it's actually gone a little too much. I don't think you're going to get him. The people that have him, I don't think are trading him away.
Okay.
That's kind of where I think.
But he doesn't have quite the name recognition. I would think that maybe.
I think the people that do have him though are really sold on him now. And that game made game.
This is what I actually wonder. In a case like that, I almost wonder if you do like a Conner and a Bateman, and then you try to go after someone like Naji Harris, and maybe the person has lost faith. Because I'll be honest, I'm a Naji owner in one, and I'm starting to lose faith. Like I think he's a solid play, but he's not going to win me any leagues. So you're kind of like, he's not an RB1, that's for sure. So he would be an interesting one. You might be able to go off and get someone like him, depending on what kind of team he's on.
Yep. Shop around, but that's the only thing I think that team needs is maybe a better running back too. That's about it. Jay Donsta says, what should I do with George Kittle? Is he a sustainable tight end 1, or should I just roll with Jared Everett? No, you're rolling with George Kittle. It's disappointing, but tight end sucks.
Yeah, I'll be honest. This is an interesting one, depending on the league. If there is people that are really interested in trying to go after, Kittle's a big name.
The name value might override the production right now. If
you can put him into a package deal, or him just a trade, and bolster a different position,
and then roll with Everett, sure.
Yeah, I might do that.
Yep. I'm with you. Let's see. Pete Daniel says, would you trade Cortland Sutton for James Conner? No, I'm not. Sorry, not doing it. I don't want James Conner.
I don't either. I mean, it depends on how desperate you are for a running back.
It depends. It really depends on your roster situation.
I like Sutton's upside moving forward. I know that Russell started really slow, but I still believe in his ability.
But James Conner, if you listen to us in the preseason, we told you this was a fluke. Last year was a fluke. It was way too much touchdown dependent. And people gave me a lot of crap for this. Yeah. A lot of it. Want me to read you 4 games of James Conner? I know he got hurt in one. Doesn't really matter. First game, 10 carries, 26 yards, but he got himself a touchdown. So there you go.
Yep.
Game 2, 7 carries, 25 yards. Game 3, 13 carries, 39 yards. Game 4, 15 carries, 55 yards. Yeah, the guy's trash. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say trash. But yeah,
if the offense isn't as good, which it isn't,
yeah, we knew
it's
that
not
the
as good.
touchdowns
They're
were
not getting
going
there.
to be
It's not good
consistent this year.
No, it's just he's touchdown dependent. Sorry. Yeah. If you drafted him as your running back 2, if you drafted him way up there, I'm sorry, you made a bad pick.
Yeah. I'd be looking. You try to find a Connor Lover and you dump him.
Made a bad pick. I mean, it's not like we had perfect picks either, but hey.
I mean, no.
He was a bad one. Connor was a bad one. Don't get him. He was a bad one. But all right. Brother Coffee Bean, he said, who should be my running back 2 to pair with Penny? So is Penny your 1 now here, Brother Coffee Bean? I mean, after last week, sure. But he actually has Alvin Camaro and Naji Harris on his team as well.
Okay.
So in reality, I know what Penny did. It was great, right? But a healthy Camaro is still going to hopefully be your number 1. And Najee's there too. Hopefully. Because Penny, I'm worried about Penny in the long term that as Walker gets more into it, he's going to take more away. Not take the job, but take a bigger split.
Yeah. And also you do have to plan for the worst because Penny has not made it through a season uninjured.
Yeah, exactly. But your number 1 and 2 are going to be Camaro and Harris. Hopefully. Penny, your 3, he has Akers as well. Zach Moss can be on the waivers no matter what size league you're in, and JD McKissick. But yeah, it's Camaro, Harris, and
Penny. You kind of have to. You have those 3. That's a really nice trio. Yeah.
He also said, what should I do with Renfro? Honestly, he's waiver wire material right now. Yeah. So just if you can move on. Trey says, could I trade him? I don't know if you can trade him. First off, let me know your size of your league next time. He has obviously more value in a bigger league. You're probably playing in a little bigger league, or at least league with bigger benches. But his value in a regular 10 to 12 team league is just not there right now. He said, who should be my quarterback 2? Is it between Justin Fields and Zach Wilson? And it's going to be Wilson for me. Because what Justin Fields led, 11 completions is his most this year. Zach Wilson has his issues, obviously. But there's just something still about that
he has so much more help. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
And they throw the ball. Running, the offense is better.
Yeah, Chicago has screwed Fields. 100% they have.
Oh, yeah.
And I still like Zach Wilson. I thought he was more talented coming out of college just for the NFL game. Fields was obviously better in college. But hey, man, he went to a position where he's just going to get beat up. And it sucks, but that's just what it is. So in fantasy, you got to look elsewhere.
So Brady Spaghetti on the Discord is basically saying he is needs some help in this league, half-point PPR. He's 0-4. But he actually likes his team. He says, will you try and trade away anyone to upgrade? So let's see what he has. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's already one I can see. But quarterback is Kyler. Yeah, Kyler's been up and down, but yeah,
I hold on to the faith. He's a top 10 guy. Yep. You're not gonna there's nowhere to go from him. He's still a keeper.
Yep. Christian McCaffrey's is running back 1.
Right.
Yeah. You keep him. No one. Okay. People, even if they say McCaffrey hasn't been as great, who has been up at the top right now? No one at the top running backs.
You're not going to, and you can't get value from McCaffrey. He's way too talented.
His running back 2 is James Conner. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, there you
go. Let's see if you can get something for him. Wide receiver 1, Debo. Just play him. Keep him there. You're good. Michael Pittman's your 2. It's okay. Pittman he's missed a week. He had a down week last week. He's had a couple good weeks. He's an interesting case. I don't know what kind of value Michael Pittman ever brings though in fantasy. I like him, but he's never really fully done it. So I
would like him a lot more if he was like your wide receiver 3.
Yep. Well, I mean, he could be. I mean, in some people's minds, he also has at a flex Marquis Brown. So
I mean, I like Marquis Brown more than Pittman personally, but
Goddard's his tight end. He right now there's 2 flex positions. Brown's in one of them right now, and Khalil Herbert's in the other, which you're really set until Montgomery comes back.
Yeah.
And then on the bench, he has Zeke on his bench. So Zeke hasn't been great, but Zeke can still be flex worthy, obviously, for Herbert there. He has Tyler Algier. We'll get to see what that means here really soon.
Well, he has a lot of really interesting players. It is tough to figure out who to keep and who to try to package.
Yeah, and then he also has Allen Robinson, Michael Thomas, Gabe Davis. So injuries have decimated him, and Allen Robinson just being done. Feels like
I actually agree with him when he talks about being 4-0, but liking or 0-4, but liking his team because there's so much opportunity there, and they haven't started playing. So you're going to sell low if you get rid of them. But I do think you probably agree with me. I do think that it might be a case where if you can, once again, I'm thinking package deal, and I'm thinking you go like Connor Pittman, something like that. and then try to trade for, once again, we can talk about the normal names, but a Breece Hall or, someone like that who is you're going to get more production out of. I would rather go that route. The Khalil Herbert, this is an interesting one. He's a very fascinating one. He's great. He probably doesn't have a ton of clout because everyone kind of knows Montgomery comes back. But if you could trade him, even though he's going to be more productive than a Connor or something, but in a short window, would you do that? Or are you too far under the gun now that you're 0-4? You kind of have to start winning now. So
yeah, you do. You got to just do it now. You can't really, you have to just play for next week. You can't have another loss. So, yeah, I think he's right though. I like his team, to be honest. I don't think there's that many moves to be made. You just had bad luck.
Yeah. I mean, would you look for one more player you can just absolutely plug in? Because I would try Connor and Pittman for me, I think are like are expendable.
They can be. Yeah, that's probably what I'd look to do. See, you'd have to get a really good quality guy to do it though, but that's who I would look to do for sure. All right, so back to the Discord. We got some more questions here on the Discord today. Ethereal Poet, he said, I just got offered Breece Hall and Mark Andrews.
Okay.
For McCaffrey in Freiermuth. Do I take it? Here's the big part of this. His other running backs are Nick Chubb and Saquon Barkley. So that's a very big upgrade at tight end.
It is. I mean, I went.
And it depends. Like if you're in a two running back league, Chubb and Barkley. I think it's a possibility.
I mean, oh man, I would love that is a rough one. So you are playing one of them in a flex position though. Obviously, Andrews is a huge upgrade from Freiermuth, but McCaffrey in flex or Breece Hall. I mean, it really all comes down to do you believe that McCaffrey can turn into McCaffrey of old? Because that's a league winner.
I think, but if he pretty good. So what I would
that trade could actually solidify your team.
I'm not saying this trade's bad. I'm not saying I'm saying it's possible. I can see why you'd want to do it. I'd almost wonder though, is there I want to see the rest of the team and see what your receiving group looks like. Because if you could turn that into a receiver, a good one in Mark Andrews, maybe that's a better move and you prop up more. Because in reality, I don't know. I want to see the roster on this. I really would like to see the roster. I would say I don't think it's a bad trade.
No, I will say this. Right now, I would probably lean towards keeping McCaffrey. From what I know, because I do think that he's a league winner if he puts all his stuff together. And even when he has bad games, it's pretty good. But, I actually think this is a kind of a fair trade at the moment.
Yeah, I think it is. And just to let you know, on the Discord, there was 3 other people that responded. They all said yes, they would do it.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
So I did ask. I want to see the rest of his roster, and we'll get that on the Discord. So go check us on the Discord. Check the score note or the show notes on this one. One more question from Weiland. He says, "Would you trade Antonio Gibson and Devonte Smith for Breece Hall and Allen Robinson?"
Yeah, I would.
I think because Breece Hall is enough of an upgrade, and Devonte Smith, I think his value is up there. He's going to have some up and down week. I love Breece Hall. I do.
Yeah, I'm really coming around on him. I didn't think he was going to put it together so quickly. I'm eating my words. I'm happy to do it. But Devonte Smith. That is going to be up and down. I really like his talent, but AJ Brown's going to be number 1 and Hurts is going to be running all around. That offense doesn't go through Devonte. So I'd rather go the opposite way.
Yep. All right. So that's it for the mailbag. Jeff, you got anything more here?
I actually do. I would like to get your thoughts on a few things. Yeah. First of all, NFL has been crazy. Injuries, everything going on. And I think that running backs this week, especially, is incredibly close with guys coming back from injury. And I want to get your thoughts on it. And there's a couple in particular. Number 1 being Alvin Camaro, right? So just keeping him in mind. And I feel like he's going to be one that if he's healthy, you put him in because he's too damn talented. But
I think he has a great matchup this week.
Yeah. So I'm going to just throw him out there and say, okay, he's number 1 because he's been banged up. Number 2, we're going to go with Naji Harris. He is really hurting right now. Volume has always been his friend. And when they're not getting in the red zone, the touchdowns will not be there. And he's not being thrown to in the last 2 weeks. So Naji is hurting a lot, even though he gets 18 carries or so. Yeah. So, okay. Those 2, we have Dobbins, uber talented. He's still kind of on a pitch count. And then finally, I want to bring up Melvin Gordon, who is going to have the huge opportunity this week, but he was in the doghouse last week. What do we do with all of these guys? What if you had all four of them? Like, who are you looking for?
Kamara, I think there's something good can happen there. I still believe it. So Kamara, you just hold Kamara, plug him in, and let's see how it really is going. Because I think you'll still, even if you gotta play that one out. I think he's been too good. He can be good, and I'm gonna hold on to him. Naji is one of my players to trade away. I believe you need to trade Naji. The value is still there enough. And I said this, if you check out YouTube Shorts, I got a YouTube short on this about players trade away. And Najee's one of the two I had. And part of it is I think the Kenny Pickett thing has got some buzz around the Steelers again, but it's not going to help. It's not going to help Najee. His upcoming schedule: Buffalo, Tampa, Miami, Philly, then a bye, then the Saints, then the Bengals. Not good. It's going to be brutal. That Buffalo, Tampa, Miami, Philadelphia stretch, 3 of those 4 on the road, that is brutal. Yeah. Get rid of him right now.
I know. I have him in a dynasty league, and thank goodness my team is pretty deep. But I have him on my bench right now, and it feels super weird. It feels like just strange. And I can't get rid of him. It's a dynasty league. But
I'm not playing him. I mean, you can play him. You can play him. I want to trade him. Because I don't want to play him right now.
No. If you have a redraft league, I'm with you 100%.
So JK, I think Dobbins is going to keep getting more action. I think it's just going to keep building, and we're going to start to see he's going to have a really good second half of this year.
Yes. Well, I totally agree with you. What do you think this week, though?
I'm okay. Some lineups he's going to be in, right? Cincinnati matchup's okay. So it's not great. It's not an easy matchup necessarily, but I do have some lineups where I will be playing Dobbins this week. It depends on my roster situation, but running back hasn't been great this year. JK will find his way into some of my lineups. And shoot, who was your other guy?
Melvin Gordon.
Gordon.
Everyone is going to be wondering about.
So Gordon right now is interesting because he was a little banged up. And to be honest, the Colts are kind of a tough matchup in a way.
Yeah, and he fumbled too, so it looked strange. But, like, is he in the doghouse? Is he not?
People going to spend all your money on Mike Boone. It's Mike Boone.
No.
It's Mike Boone.
Melvin Gordon's better than Mike Boone.
Yes. Melvin Gordon's if he's healthy, I think he'll be pretty good. I think you're going to get really good value out of Melvin Gordon. He'll have a good rest of the season because there's just not going to be competition for him.
Yeah. So. This week, Naji Harris, Dobbins, or Melvin Gordon, who would you play? That is for me, that's actually a very difficult.
It is because I don't think their matchups are great, any of them. If Melvin Gordon, we know he's healthy, I think it's going to be Melvin Gordon, to be honest, because I think the Broncos will be a little better. Dobbins, screw it. It's Dobbins. I'll take the chance because I don't love it. I'll take the chance on Dobbins.
If I heard good news and I'm like, he'll get a few more carries, I say Dobbins, but he's banged up too.
So here's 2 players I'll say quick that I think are underrated this week, and I think you can start both of them. Damien Harris from Andre Stevenson going against the Lions. Plug them both into your lineup if you have them. A lot of people have both. I have both in a couple teams. I am literally starting both of them.
I actually love that. Yeah, I don't have both in either, but I do have Damien
I'm starting
Harris,
both of them.
I'm starting him.
So Jeff, I'll tell you one more name that I put on my players to trade away. See if your thoughts on this. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, player to trade away. I think what's that?
I have no issue with that.
Yeah, I think his value's at peak value right now.
He's done well. He has done very well.
He's done very well. But last week he did 19 for 92 and touchdown, right? Looked really good. The week before he had 7 carries for 0 yards. So
he's gonna be an up and down. He's gonna be the Amari.
And Pacheco is looking a little better.
100% agree with you.
So Pacheco is actually playing a little bit more, and he looks like a decent running back. So we'll see. But there we go. All right. I don't know if I have anything else for you, Jeff. No, that's about it. I had a couple players to trade away.
Do you have just out of curiosity, do you have last thoughts, like, do you have any tight ends that you have any hope for that might be ascending the rank right now? Because that is a position, if you didn't get in early, if you didn't get one of the top guys, and even Kittle, I'm off of him, but if you didn't get one of the top 2, 3
to be honest, no one does it. I think Higbee's going to get a lot of targets. And part of the reason I think is it seems to me the Rams offensive line isn't as good. Stafford doesn't have as much time. He's just going down to Higbee quick, and Higbee's going to get more targets. So Higbee,
Right.
not because of him himself. I think he's just going to get more targets. Everyone else is just kind of like maybe. They're all over the place, to be honest. I'm not sold. Hawkinson, I hope that the Lions will use him more, but we got to see more of it, right? But
Yeah.
no, there's really not, to be honest. There's just not a lot of tight ends that are just really stepping up for me this year. In Pitts, I'll
No.
say everyone's so down on Pitts. And to be honest, if you could, I've seen people saying like cut bait on him, do this. I'm like, okay, I would take a chance, because I don't think if you don't have, I would take a chance on getting Pitts, because if you're obviously going to take that chance, you're probably not very good at tight end anyway. Just take a chance. If he doesn't, if you can trade for him for like nothing or little, I would do it. Just take a chance. He's so talented. Or Atlanta's just not using him right, and maybe they'll wake up at some point.
You would hope. What about, I do have two names there. Not my favorite, but I do feel like there's a little bit of upside for him. And if you're really struggling, what do you think about number one, Njoku? Obviously, he did have a little bit of heat at one point, Njoku, but the other one is Hayden Hurst of Cincinnati.
Yeah,
he made a couple of good grabs, and maybe he has kind of a future there a little bit.
So both of them, I'm like Njoku. I think Njoku's a very talented player, and he's actually had some really good weeks. So yeah, Njoku could be he could be like top 10 all the time after a couple weeks here. Last 2 weeks is 89 yards, 73 yards. He's been involved. I like Njoku. I think he's a good one. That probably becomes a top 10 guy ranked every week. And Hurst is interesting, right? I don't know. It's tight end. Take a chance, right?
I know. Well, I feel like Hurst is one that needed more time and didn't get it because Andrews was so prolific in Baltimore immediately.
Yep.
And tight ends take a while, so I'm wondering if now he's finally found his niche.
Yep.
But David Njoku,
I like Njoku.
I wonder about that one too, because I know that he does have a little bit of heat, so he's not easy to get necessarily. But with him, you're kind of like, I get a decent tight end, and everyone sucks right now. A decent tight end, and then in the future when they revamp quarterback in week 12. Like I might be down the very end of the stretch. I might actually get like a top end guy. Yeah. That's like kind of where my head goes, but I don't know. We'll play around with that idea.
All right. That'll do it for today. We'll be back for the recap show though, on Sunday night. And in the meantime, go check us out everywhere. Like I said, youtube.com/fantasyfootballprofit, TikTok, Instagram, all of it. All be in the show notes. You can check us out all those different places. But that'll do it. Talk to you guys next time.